to jumpstart Twitch, and it looks like Wendy's efforts have prevailed.
Yeah, little errors pinging the Twitch servers, but we're live and we're back in action. And guys, today we have Dane Johnson here, who's going to talk about the new features, just a couple of new features for for Create 2022.2. My favorite one so far, Pivot Tool. I'm really excited about that. Before we get started, I know one of the things that we wanted to kind of let you guys know, because we announced this at GTC. We started up a new community page. So you can go to nvidia.com/omniverse/community. And you can actually sign up on the community. You can network with other omnivores, and you can share your work with everyone. So I highly, highly suggest that you sign up for this. And it's a great way for us to see what you guys are doing with Omniverse, and a great way for us to talk to each other and get to know each other. Yeah.
The big, the team worked very hard to kind of put all this information together in a very kind of one-stop shopping for community. So you're going to find a lot of great resources on that community page. The easiest way to get there is probably just go to omniverse.nvidia.com, and that brings you to the Omniverse page right away. And then you'll see community at the top right. And then, like Wendy mentioned, we have this form you could subscribe to, or give us information about yourself through the form. It's called the Insider. And that allows, just like Wendy mentioned, that allows us to basically know who some of the users are better. And it also helps us to promote your work, potentially identify people who might be a good fit for talent that one or more of our partners may be looking for. It's a great way. If we don't have you in our system, we don't know who you are. So it's a great way to keep up with the latest. And if you want to kind of learn more about it, check it out, and then post your questions on the Discord. We're always there to help. But I think it's a congratulations to everybody on the Omniverse team who worked on this website. Really, really great work. I'm looking at you, Amelia, Vince, Maddie, Wendy. I know you, Wendy, you worked on it. The marketing team, Greer, Tim, Lila. Yeah, great job. So this is it's a really nice kind of milestone for us to have this webpage for the community.
Yeah. So what else?
So the other thing,
GTC,
GTC was crazy.
Ahead, yeah.
So now what's possible is that you can watch sessions still. So even if you couldn't see it live for any reason, if the registration does not work, it will work again on October 10th, where you can see the sessions. Or which registration actually should always work, but you might not be to see the sessions until October 10th. But I just heard a few minutes ago that it does work, so you can watch replays right now. So there's a bunch of great content, and we have some curated playlists. So on our Discord channel called GTC, I'm going to repost it there in a few minutes, but we have 3 nice kind of curated pages for different sessions that might interest you, based on if you're a developer, if you're a creator, if you're more interested in M&E or AECO. So I'll post those sessions up, and then you can chat about it in the GTC channel. That channel is always going to be there. So any question on GTC, past, present, future, you can go there. On a somewhat related note, we have this great promotion if anyone's looking for a GPU, there's a great promotion right now from Production Crate. I'm going to post this in the text chat on both Twitch and YouTube in a second. But really, really easy to go ahead and enter yourself in. I've heard the chanters are not so bad with this one. So go ahead and enter yourself, and you basically just have to do a couple things, and you'll be entered. And it relates to GTC and watching sessions. So that's from Production Crate. So we'll post that link in a few seconds. Nice little quick video where they explain it all. Really easy steps, and check out the description of that video to see the step-by-step. So that's kind of it as far as big news we wanted to promote. But definitely the star of this hour, and obviously he works with many stars on his team. So Dane, thank you so much for coming. This was a pretty significant update for Create. There's a nice forum post about it that goes through all the features that have been added, and it's pretty substantial, as Wendy was saying. What what inspired you to put this kind of update out there for people?
Yeah, so 2022.2 originally was born out of what we're calling OmniLive 2. So we have this technology that we've been working on for a while. And like I said, right now we've kind of dubbed it OmniLive 2. And the whole point of it was to make live updates faster and safer, and to have an actual like collaborative session page. So one of the things about how live used to work in Omniverse is we were directly working on the USD file. And there wasn't a lot of communication back and forth between the different users. And now with OmniLive 2, we have this great way to do. We're actually doing it on a one level up from your USD file, which lets us do multiple sessions per USD file. So if I've got my warehouse scene, I can actually have 5, 10, 20 different people live on that scene in their own little purview. Or I can join their view of that world, and it's really kind of like that metaverse-y, portals within portals within portals. We kind of enable that sort of live workflow now with this version of Create. And what's really nice about it is, since it is now one step up from your USD file, we can actually commit and merge those changes, throw them away. You now have all these choices at the end of your live session. So. That was actually the most important part about the 2022.2 release initially, because not only did we add this new client library 2.0 and OmniLive 2.0, we actually added it to all of our connectors as well. So I'll show you that interface here in a moment. Actually, I'll start sharing my screen now. Let's go ahead and do that. Go live. Let's see if this works. Can you see my Create?
We see it.
All right. So it's up here. This is the new thing that we have, which allows you to start a session. So you can find other sessions. Now, unfortunately, I don't have anybody to play with right now. It's just me, very lonely. But you'd be able to pick a drop down of a whole bunch of different sessions. Whoever's in this stage at the time, when you click on it, it'll show the other live participants that are in the stage. And also on top of that, in this little area right here, you'll be able to see who's in there. It'll say DJ or WG, etc. for the other users that are live. And all the connectors have this exact same interface. So no matter which tool you're in, and I don't know if we've done a live session on the OmniLive 2 stuff yet. If not, we should totally do a stream about it. But this is what really, finally we were able to, hey, cool, this is cool. We're all connected. We're all in the same space. And we're going to build upon this in a massive way over the next year, right? To really make this collaborative workflow within Omniverse, a real connected experience. So this was the main original point to the Live 2.0 stuff in the Create 2022.2. But what also really came with this client library 2 is the performance of live is incredibly fast now. So if you're 60 hertz in Create, your update's going to be 60 hertz to the other users that are out there in the world. So we're really excited about kind of the Omni Live 2.0 workflow, and we wanted to get that out this summer to have a good base, a good bed for our future Create and connector releases to have this in there. Now, with this, we're like, well, we can't just put a Create out with just OmniLive. We got a bunch of other goodies cooking. We got to go ahead and give it to everybody so they can see it. I heard some beeping in the background. I don't know what that was about. So let's go to the next big feature, which is Viewport 2.0. So this was another foundational update. So like I said, we were kind of trying to do a couple foundational updates with this one to unlock future use cases. Viewport 2.0, well, it just looks like the Viewport, right? Well, this is now fully scriptable. So now you can script it via Python, and this particular menu right here is all done in Python with Viewport 2.0, and it's easily extendable. And so we went ahead and added in some nice features here. This camera toolbar. Now, one thing that came from actually another product of ours, View, was this idea like, hey, let's get all these really easy to use viewport tools right here in your face. So you can zoom your camera. We have a little focus picker. So now this is my focus target, and I can change my my aperture settings here so I can get a nice DOF going on. It's currently set to auto exposure, and I can kind of change that white balance value. So now you can very quickly and easily, get to the look and feel that you want without having to go over here and fiddle with camera properties or stuff like that. It's all now in your viewport, and we've got a bunch of dedicated drop downs for common lens lengths. Let's actually make it so I can actually see something with this lens. Here, we'll just do something reasonable. Additional things that we've added, let's try to make some of these workflows a little easier is, before you could obviously make a camera from the view. I'm just going to make a couple of them just for the heck of it. One thing that really always annoyed me when I was working in a collaborative session was if I found this camera and I'm like, man, this camera rocks. Like, I don't ever want this to change while I'm in my session. Now we've added a lockability. So when I'm flip-flopping through the cameras, I'm right-clicking right now trying to move the camera, and I can't, right? So I can actually now lock down my cameras and say, hey, these shots I'm really happy with. I'm going to lock them within my stage. And what's kind of cool about a new functionality we have throughout a lot of Create 2022 is we now have these dockable menus. So I can actually, above a lot of these menus now, you'll see this little highlight. I can now tear this off, and it'll now live kind of like in my workflow, my workspace. So if I, for some reason was doing a lot of camera work and I just wanted to flip-flop through all of them, this is now always here. Instead of before where if I want to change cameras, I got to go here. Okay, I'm messing with some stuff. Oh, let me go all the way up here and do my camera drop down. So we kind of wanted to make this really easily extendable. And this is also up here in the top drop down as well. So I can, pull off my create menu. I can pull off my mesh menu. And let's, for some reason, I can't move because I locked this camera. Look at that, my workflow working. But now if I wanted to, drop a bunch of cubes in my scene, where to put them, they're all going to just start showing up from this menu. So that kind of like undockable menu thing, we're pretty excited about, just because we think it was just really kind of a fun addition for the user. So outside of those kind of some of those high level features that we added, the other thing we really wanted to focus on with this release was some layout tools. Create is a great tool to aggregate content, right? If you've got all with Omniverse, you can pull in content from everywhere. You can pull it in from Max, Maya, UE, every place, and come into Nucleus and then be used with inside of Omniverse. And then what we really want to do after that point is put it together, right? So we wanted to make putting your content together in unique ways a lot easier. So I'll just go through some examples here of the different tools we have. One of the first ones, I'm going to go with pivot last because you said it was your favorite. Array tool is just what it sounds like, right? So right now I am able to very quickly and easily make an array of boxes. I can translate them in the X direction. I can translate them in the Y direction. If I want to just stack them on top of each other, I could do that as well. So I go ahead and make my stack of 10 precarious cardboard boxes. We can also do them in other dimensions as well. So if I put a 2 here, I'm now able to stack them. I don't know. Let's go 5 deep. Might as well, right? Now I've got 5 deep of my cardboard boxes. Now this is currently in preview, so all this work is currently not actually in my stage. I have to apply it at the end. So now I have my precariously set. This is just like an OSHA violation waiting to happen. I don't think you're supposed to do this in real life. But it looks kind of funny because, you know, you never get them stacked that well. And, you know, while I'm in here, I think I need to adjust the lighting a little bit. Let's go ahead and find my dome light. And I need to rotate it a bit to get, oh, looks like we got a directional light in here too. Where's my directional light? There it is. We're gonna go to PT. I'm gonna turn off this distant light. I'm gonna crank up my dome light. Ooh, not too much, so I can see these boxes. And I'm gonna now my artist side is just getting annoyed because I want it to look better. All right. So now that we have these boxes, my big thing is, hey, I don't think that looks natural. That's not realistic. They would never be put that straightforward like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another tool that we just brought up, which is randomizer. Does kind of just what you said. It does all sorts of different randomizations. I don't want it to translate, right? Because I want everything to stay kind of where it was. So I want to just do some random rotations. Nope, X is the wrong one. Y is the wrong one. There you go. So I kind of want to just whisk them ever so slightly. And then, yeah, I guess I probably should do a little bit of translation. Maybe a little bit of X, a little bit of Y. And now, you know, I can kind of have my stack of boxes be a little bit more, that was right. My white balance is way off. A little bit more interesting. Again, these all are in preview mode when you first do it, so I can apply it, and I can close my randomizer tool, and now I've got a nice. Very quickly, I made a bunch of boxes, and I made them kind of random, right? And that's what you see in real life is that they're never stacked perfectly. Man, that's a nice looking set of boxes. Very proud of myself. Now, the next layout tools we have are is pivot. So let's go ahead and grab something that's interesting for pivot. Do you guys know about all these free assets that come with Omniverse Create? Because there's a whole bunch of them, and we keep adding more. They're already here, commercial, industrial, all these things you see behind you. This is all included with Create. You just go to the NVIDIA mount for some of these. So this warehouse pack is under whatever your local host is, and demos, and it's warehouse physics, and you get this whole world. And then you also have all these assets. Little plug for free stuff. I like free stuff. So let me pull in this vintage lamp real quick, and we're gonna turn off auto exposure, so I don't have everybody on the stream being like, "Oh, the lighting keeps changing on me." So right now, the artist did a good job. Whoever the artist was, they kind of put it, you know, in the right pivot. So when I swing it, it's going like that. But maybe you actually want to always base where this asset is on where the actual light bulb is shooting down, right? Because right now I'm pivoting off the base, and I really want to pivot off the light bulb. So now we kind of let you adjust that with the pivot tool. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a pivot, and then I can sit here and adjust that just like that. And now it's going to rotate around where my pivot is. If I don't like that and I want to go back to how it used to be, I just remove the pivot with the pivot tool. And now we're groovy. Next thing that's kind of related to all of this as well. I'm going to grab one of my boxes. We're going to go ahead and put a few of them. There's a little caret down here. What the heck does this caret do? Well, it gives you some additional layout tools that are straight and really accessible. So I can of course add a pivot this way as well. I can change my transform space between local and world. And then I have all these kind of cool snap options. So let me walk through these real quick. Let's do the grouping stuff first. If I do multiple, let me turn my snap off. And we're gonna do so you can adjust your snap here. Now I'm at a 10-degree snap, right? Just to make it nice and easy on myself. But then I also have this kind of cool multi-selection pivot placement. So right now it's selection center. So okay, I've got these boxes and I'm rotating them around this selection center. That's neat, I guess. What about the bounding box center? So okay, well, there's another option. Now it's rotating around the bounding box center. But this one, I love this one. I can pick which prim I want to rotate around very easily now. So okay, nope, now I want to rotate this guy, and I can do like a little crab walk with my boxes here. So this is really, I mean, this stuff is so helpful when you're trying to like place something perfectly, and you don't want to sit there and eyeball it. You know, you get all your snap options, you get all your pivot options, and of course, another easy way with this, it was called last picked prim. As I go through here, it's always going to be whatever the last, if I'm multi-selecting, whatever the last one I select is the one that's going to pivot. So that's your final kind of multi-select pivot options. So there's all sorts of cool stuff here. Like I said, if I'm in rotation, I get that option. If I'm in translation, I get a whole bunch of different options for how I want it to snap. So let's try that real quick, because the transform snapping is pretty neat as well. So let me make the actual translation small so I can move around at a very small increment. There's a world grid that we have if you hit G. So I can have it snap to the world grid. Actually I have to, there's a trick with the world grid. You have to hit this little center ball right here, but I can have it snap perfectly centered to all the grid points. We can actually do it on surfaces. So let me grab this, and you'll actually see it's, let me get a little bit better angle for you. If I grab this, I'm actually, always conforming to the surface of that box. Again, that's going to be really helpful for if I want to stack boxes. You see how easy that is now? Now with no type of snapping, if I turn snapping off, I mean, this is the situation you're normally in. Oh my gosh, let me get it now. No, quite not there. Oh, it's just no fun. But if we have this nice, surface snapping, I know that it's perfectly on the surface as I want it. These are kind of like hidden gems, right? So we want to really make sure everybody gets to see these fun new layout tools. So definitely experiment with all those different snapping options, all the different pivot options. But that was one of the big feedbacks that we originally got was, hey, I want to be able to lay out my world a lot easier. We obviously have zero gravity, which hopefully people have seen in the past. This stage actually has a lot of physics in it, so that was it's already actually pretty well set up for that. But zero gravity lets you, let me see. So I go here and I set, I can have these to be static markers. Then I click this and it's a dynamic marker, and then I can actually simulate it into place by moving it up and down. Oops, I did it on the wrong thing. I'll show you that here in a little bit on a simpler stage. This is a big stage. But that's kind of how we had you do it before, was through zero gravity. So, the physics would actually pop it into place. So that was our only kind of unique way to lay out tools in the past, was zero gravity. So adding all these gives you a lot more options, a lot more potential to kind of lay out, like I said, lay out the world in the best way possible for you. And now let me look at my list here, because I always forget all the other cool stuff that we've added. So I'm looking at my list.
I was going to ask, actually. So I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, the people are getting a really nice kind of tips here that they might not have realized. When you go through and you're looking at kind of what features to add in or adjust, because you said you take it based on a lot of feedback. where are you pulling that from? Mostly on the forums or on Discord?
Yeah, it's
the best place for people to share their suggestions.
The forums and Discord are both fantastic. You know, they see both of you in those forums fairly regularly, right? So, you know, Wendy, I see you always answering questions in the forums. Those come to the entire development team, so we see all of those. We see all those requests that come in. We also have a lot of internal artists as well that are working on this thing all day, every day. So they're kind of finding, oh, okay, this isn't as nice or as useful as I want. So, you know, they build UX out, and we make their lives easier. So those are definitely Discords and forums. We're watching them all the time.
Awesome.
I do think we're gonna try to up our communication there to kind of let you know there's some things in the work to kind of right now to help telegraph what's coming next. You know, we actually have another big dot release coming pretty soon that we announced at GTC. So I'm gonna have a whole bunch more features for you in like not a lot of time. We'll just say that, and we're working on better communication methods to kind of let everybody know what's coming, and kind of let you vote on what you'd like to see.
That would be awesome. I'm sure the community would love that.
Yeah, I know I'd love it because I'd love to get a really good idea of you know what you like and where your pain points are, so I can make them better.
Yeah, and on that note, so feel free to post your suggestions during the stream too in the text chat, and we'll make a note of them. Yeah, what would you like to see added in the near future or changed?
Now let's jump into another change we made, and we're going to continue improving this, but we actually in the samples now have a drop down. It used to be just these, you know, very simple rendering samples. Now all the new extensions that we make that you know do cool stuff will have their samples show up directly in the sample browser. So you know, different tools like Warp, which continuously get better and better. If you don't know what Warp is so cool. But basically, you know, a lot of these examples that were written in, you know, effectively Python, and we make them run on the GPU super fast. And you don't have to be a GPU programmer to do it. If you haven't heard about Warp and you're you know, and you're a Python programmer, stuff like that, definitely check our documentation out on it. Super neat. But one thing I wanted to talk about was if you watch the GTC keynote, one of the things we showed was the Rimac car configurator. And actually, if you can go to the website, and maybe we'll show you that a little later in the stream, you can actually play with it. We can actually play with it live. It was all done with stock Create 2022.2. So it's not a special build. There's no hidden features. It was all done with Action Graph and Create 2022.2. So you could build that same car configurator now if you wanted, because we've added a few really neat features to Action Graph. So I want to go through these samples real quick, these Action Graph samples. So let me load them up. And I try to pull them down from S3. So the things that we've kind of added is we've added some new UX to abilities to Action Graph. And if you're not familiar with Action Graph, this is our visual scripting language. So I'll go ahead and go to the visual scripting layout, and I'll show you what it is first. So yeah, here we go. So this is Action Graph, right? So it's a visual scripting language, lets you do all sorts of, you know, pretty fun stuff. And we've added a whole bunch of new nodes. Some of them are in beta, so they'll improve. But let's just go ahead and let's show you this very simple sample. So if I hit play, you'll notice I have two options available. I have now have Viewport buttons, and you can use a PNG to make those look how you want. These are very simple samples. And I can color toggle. But what's also pretty cool is I can do it by clicking in the viewport. So these are all new features for 2022.2 with Action Graph, is to let you do all these type of things. And let me go back to the default layout, and let's look at the other samples, because we even have I will challenge you all to do this one as well. We even have a little labyrinth game. So let me let the textures load. I hadn't preloaded these, so none of these are in my cache. It's bad on my part. But yeah, so I can click the screen and I don't know, y'all played this as a kid, didn't you? Oh gosh.
I did.
Oh, in the hole. Yep, fail. So the actual finish line. Oh, I'm gonna get it. This is over here. Winner, yay. It's 19 seconds. That was pretty poor. Let's see if you guys can beat me. And then you can also try this level.
Oh, geez.
Which, yeah. All right, I give up. This is all an action graph as well. And then, you know, another fun example is this fan, which left click will let you pick it, and then I can use my center scroll wheel to kind of get the fan going. So these are all real simple examples, right? We ship with them. You can check out the action graph or how they're made. But we've been really improving the usability and the functionality of action graph because I personally love visual scripting. You know, I can, you know, if I wanted to, write some Python code, stuff like that. But to me, I've always been a visual person. I continue to always be a visual person. And the advent of other visual scripting languages out there have just unlocked a lot of people that previously, you know, they weren't able to code or they didn't have an interest in coding, right? And now that you can just do it by, let me drag these little noodles around, it's just a lot more fun. So like I said, these samples are up there. You can kind of look at how they were built and, you know, have fun, make your own little simple examples. Let me go back to my default layout. Try to see if there's any other samples I really want to show you guys. No, that shows it up pretty well. Let me see if there's any other cool features that. Oh, transform. I missed one layout tool. So let me go ahead and grab a template environment. Sure, banning parking lot sounds good. And I'm gonna grab another asset. Well, I already had this thing, so let's put it back in here. Why wouldn't you have a vintage lamp in the middle of an abandoned parking area? So we have this button right here, which is the transform offset mode. And what it does is it'll just offset your transform by an amount. It sounds simple, but if I'm at 103.9529210.5 Bravo, if I want to go to 50 of that, you know, I've kind of got to do the math. I've got to put it in here. Transform offset just makes it a little easier. You go here and say, I just want to move it by 50. Right, and that's all it does. Sounds simple, but you know, if I want to rotate it by 90, I just put it in there and it does the math for me and applies it in here properly. Little simple things like that, but they end up saving you a lot of time and a lot of headache in the future. All right, that's my quick overview of what is in Create 2022.2. That there's actually a lot more under the hoods if you look at the release notes. A lot of improvements to rendering, a lot of improvements, just kind of some general back-end stability. I think every little extension got, you know, some sort of update or some sort of improvement applied to it. But these were the major kind of new, you know, usability and workflow features. So again, Create 2022 is all about, you know, new live, which, man, it's so awesome. I use it all the time just for, I'm in a connector like Maya and I just want to live look at stuff inside of Create. So new live and a lot of new really fun layout tools. And of course, Action Graph got a massive upgrade.
That's
for
awesome.
usability.
I cannot wait to see what the community does. We've got some questions. Wendy has been doing a great job.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions in.
Okay, I'm just over here talking.
Yeah, no, it's great. So Wendy, what would be a good one that you didn't hit that would be good for Dane? Well, Brad just asked a second ago. Can you define scaling parameters of an object? For example, if you want to make the lamp taller, it just extends the main rod up the z-axis, but doesn't stretch the rest of the object. That's coming in from Brad on YouTube.
I'm gonna try to. I'm not sure I quite grokked it, but this meaning basically like stuff like this, or in the transform widgets.
Yeah,
right?
basically, yeah. So he wants to extend the main rod up the z-axis, but doesn't stretch the rest of the object.
So when he scales it bigger, only specific parts scale. Yeah.
Yeah. So it some of that depends on how the asset's built. This one in particular, I think, is all multi-piece. Let's take a look here. Yeah, this one, it looks like the main itself is one piece, but everything else is separated. So I mean, technically you could, but it's really, you could build a smart asset with action graph if you wanted to, so that you could plug in specific parameters to adjust it. But outside of that, you just have kind of your standard transform widget.
Very cool. And I mean, another question, I guess, related to the fan you showed earlier.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to ask next.
Okay, go ahead, Wendy. You got it.
Oh no, So the question was, can can the fan actually have wind that pushes objects? And the answer is yes. I linked the force field wind.
There we go. That's what I was just going to say. Add force fields. Yeah. Yep, that would be the way to do it. Would be force fields. And I think, let me pull that extension up real quick. I'm not sure if it is. Yeah, so it's not. Might as well explain this real quick. There's a bunch of extensions that are included in Create that are not on by default, so they're not anywhere in like your standard workflow. There's a variety of reasons for that. Either they're in development, or they're not commonly used, so we just don't load them up by default. Force Fields is one that is not loaded by default. It's in development, and you can see it's a version 0.11, but we do include it because it's still pretty awesome. So you can actually go to the Windows extensions, type in Force Fields, and there you go. Now you're going to have physics force fields. So let me let's play live here. It's a terrible idea to mess with something you didn't practice. But yeah, you should have physics force fields. Where are those at? Okay, yeah, I haven't used them in a while. I think I'll probably have to jump into the forums and let you know how to use force fields. If Tyner was on here, man, that's why I need to bring more people to play. But this is it. It's under the extensions, and I'll ask Dave Tyner to throw something up on the forums about how to use force fields.
Awesome. Yeah, the data juggler is on the forums, so he will definitely see it.
Great. Yeah, I'll have him do something after the fact, because I honestly don't remember how to do it, because I'm not up on everything yet. There's still plenty of things in here that I'm a noob.
I haven't got to play around with force fields too much.
I was going to say, Tyner, if you're watching or listening right now, feel free to
he's probably hitting me on Slack right now, like, man, you suck. How do you not know how to do that?
Well, he has an open invite. He can jump in anytime.
Yeah. What another question someone was asking was basically like pathing, like animation paths, drawing a curve and then having something follow that curve.
Great question. And I think I have a sample for that.
Nice.
Play the loading dance. Come on, load. So that will be actually through Atom Graph. It's same base. It's all the same base of OmniGraph. And you can actually see in here, there's an animation graph and an action graph. We have a curve that's been drawn. It's a basis curve. We have a curve drawing tools here. You can make one with a pencil or a Bezier curve. But let's see here. There you go. He's going to follow that curve. So we actually have a sample right there that you can load up, and you can try out yourself. You can change that basis curve. Let me grab that sucker. You can make curves from X forms. Oh yeah, that's always neat. Let me show you how to do that. So you can actually make these X forms and kind of place them in the world. And then you're supposed to be able to curve from X forms. There you go. Yeah, it's a poor curve, but it made it, and we can adjust it from there. It's an OmniGraph curve. There's the curve visualizer. So I could actually put a bunch of X forms and it'll walk between them. You can also do it with these path points. So this one's kind of fun. So he's going to try to walk these path points, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. We're going to move it, and he should now go to this one when he takes his turn. Yep. And then, so this is like all I said, all these samples are included. Where should I have him go now? I'm going to have him go way out here. And yeah, now he's going to take his long walk into the... So there's actually something important. I'm not sure if you saw that, but you're like, man, why didn't he walk straight towards that square? But you see how he actually planned how his path should go, so he didn't have to do like a military, left face. He's actually planning the trajectory that he would to be able to accomplish these paths correctly, which I think is a really pretty awesome
amazing.
feature
Yeah.
of the path planning. And I'm 99% sure most of these things are parameterizable, but gonna mess with him. He's gonna be real angry with me. So, man, I don't want to go all the way over there. Screw it, and go to the next path. All right. Yep. So that all that stuff's under the Anim graph. There's a lot of cool things in here. There's retargeting clips. There's you can do filters for how much you want someone to wave or not. This example is the retargeting example for Anim graph, and it shows that this is a totally different character. And if I hit play, the animation from this character is transferring automatically over to this character's rig without really any work done by the end user. She's walking as her materials comes in. All right. Hopefully you guys can have fun with these samples. Are all pretty fun. And like I said, I didn't actually pull up the Anim graph. I'm going to do that one more time. That one's actually under layout animation graph, and it like I said, it's very similar. This is called motion matching here for what poses the character's gonna try to get to, what poses they're gonna use to do their movement. Okay, next question.
So is there a way to, I guess, set, when you're creating a new primitive, is there a way to not have it set at the world origin, or have it like create itself at a different location?
From this menu?
Yeah.
Currently not.
Yeah. Okay.
Great question. Good feature request.
Yeah, I will definitely add that.
What I would think would be cool is, for instance, if I have something else already selected in the stage. Let's say we got cube 01 selected, and I put it up here, and I said create cube. It would be nice if it was in that position. No, that's a good feature request. Something I actually didn't show. There's actually two more features that one just sparked my memory about is, if I did want to lay out my stage with a bunch of cubes and put them wherever I wanted to put them, what I can do now, and let me find an asset here real quick. So bear with me as my internet chokes. Let's see what we got. Takur. Apparently, I've got a clock I'm going to use. Is now you can, how do I do that? It is, yeah, maybe I can't do this on the mount. I'll come back, but we now have a new feature that lets you replace what's in the world with what's in in your thing. Let me look at the docs. Well, keep asking me questions. I'm gonna look at the docs real quick on how to do that.
Speaking of feature requests, so I see Pekka Varis has joined the chat. Hey, Pekka. Pekka is our first Omniverse ambassador for the community, very active on our forums. He does great work. He actually created a company called Cineshare, which is revolving around providing Omniverse work. He has a great question, though, and a feature request. That's regarding 3D text. So he's looking to see if that is something that we'll have coming soon, or if we know someone else that's working on it.
3D text. I don't have any specific release dates. I do know it's a hot topic internally, so I can probably get someone to share some updates on 3D text. So this is all just like text that can be auto-generated and put in your 3D space. Yeah. Nothing I can say yet.
Okay. Sounds like it's in progress though, on some level. Cool. Thank you, Pekka, for asking that great question.
Yeah, there's a lot of people asking for something that's going to need to go more in depth. Like, let's see here, someone asking for, they'd like to create a simulation like the one similar to Ericsson. Jump on the forum, jump on Discord, and we can get someone to kind of like talk you through and help you through creating something like that. I'm not sure if we have a tutorial for Ericsson, but that's a good one for us to create.
Speaking of that, so we talked about this last week at GTC at the user group, but we just added a whole bunch of workflow videos. Actually, in the Learn tab of the Omniverse launcher, you can now access all the workflow videos very easily. So I'm going to post, even if you don't have the launcher handy, you don't have it installed, you're not on a computer that has it, I'm going to post a link in the chat of where you can see all the videos, including workflow videos, but videos about basically all of our playlists. We have them categorized based on what kind of user you are, what app you're using, and what's your main focus, and including the workflow videos. So I'll post that list here. It's a great. I actually have this saved on every one of my computers because whenever someone has a question, usually the answer's there. So, and if you likewise, if you go through that list, I'll post in a second in the chat, and you do not find a video that covers an important workflow, and you think it would help others as well, especially, please let us know, because there are a couple of different things that could happen. One is that we'll get someone internally to work on it, or number two, we'll put a call out to the community and say, hey, listen, we're really looking for some videos on this, and get in touch with us if you want to help make them, and we'll work with you on it. So great opportunity, great way to expand the knowledge base for Omniverse.
So I do have one question here for you, Dane. So got a couple people that are asking this question. Is it possible to disable the image interpolation or the AA filter for low res textures so that they don't become blurred when imported? They have several textures that are pixel art, and I guess they're importing in really blurred.
Oh, interesting. So it's actually it's like the mipmap generation is blurry. There's a couple. It might be great to actually get a, for lack of a better term, a bug report about that, so we could look at it. The other thing you could do in the short term is under render settings common under materials. So we do this normal map MIP generation. You could turn that off. You could turn off texture streaming. Basically the options in here you could turn off. It's because then you're supposed to be getting your max quality textures all the time. If that doesn't fix it, we definitely want to look at that and see if we're doing something wrong and we need to fix it.
Yeah, and if that doesn't help, let me know on the forum. Ping me. Just do @WendyGraham, and I'll make sure that we take a look at it.
Another feature. So the feature I was thinking about is actually in the next release. So sorry, my brain got confused. But in this release, So an issue that I have a lot, by the way, when I'm sitting here like making a ton of materials and stuff, is I'll end up with a bunch of orphaned materials I don't need anymore. So we did add an ability to in the materials browser to if you go to materials current stage, you can now remove all the unused materials. See, it's like 13 materials; they're not being used by anything, and you can kind of clean up your stage and reduce some of the memory footprint from all the various materials. So another little feature that we snuck into this release.
And do you know, I asked this because someone was asking on buoyancy when we're going to have buoyancy as a physics, but a lot of people in the community want more water tutorials and more information on generating water. But yeah, buoyancy
That's
is
a great thing to
definitely,
feed back to the PhysX team.
yeah.
I do know there's a lot of really cool stuff coming with physics pretty soon. If you saw the Racer X video, for instance, a lot of the
Pretty cool.
tools, yeah, it was very neat. A lot of the tools that were used to create the physics for Racer X will be in future versions of Create, and we'll try to do a bunch of tutorials and stuff on how to make all that stuff happen. And I'm really excited for a lot of the physics improvements in the next 3 to 6 months. Lots
Nice.
coming there.
I'm trying to see. I think we've answered pretty much every question we've gotten in. Edmar, did you see any that I may have missed?
Well, I actually want to make a note on something. So I was just going through some of the questions on both on Discord and on Twitch and YouTube. People were asking about upcoming live streams. So we have a new feature that we talked about also at the user group, where we have a full calendar now where you can look at all the upcoming events, so that you can see everything in one place. The cool thing about this link, I just posted it in the chat, is that you can actually add any one or all of those events to your own calendar, whatever calendar you use. So you won't miss an important live stream that's covering something that you care about. And then we include stuff on that calendar that not only on Twitch and YouTube shows like the one we're doing today, but also we have a lot of great content, live content on the Discord server in the community voice chat room. So so that's just brand new thing that I think will be super helpful for people, so you don't miss anything. But yeah, I don't see any. I posted the links for the playlist a minute ago. Anyone who's listening and watching, we have a bunch of people actually. If we miss something or we maybe need more detail on something, feel free to post it in text chat, and we'll take a look right now while we have Dane here. Pretty close to closing out the hour. Sometimes we, I don't know, Dane, if you're busy, I totally get it. If you're not, and you want to spend a few minutes on the Discord server, sometimes we hop on to the community voice chat, so people can kind of turn on their mic, maybe turn on their webcam if they're feeling brave, and ask questions to the host of a topic after the stream. So we can do that for a few minutes if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be around.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
Someone will be waiting for me in a meeting, and I'm like, I'm busy.
Hang out with us.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. Does a new Create support multi-GPU with RTX real time? We've had some issues with, oh wow, he's got 3 A6000s.
Yeah. I actually, that's Pekka, right? I'm pretty sure that's from Pekka.
Yep.
He did post that on the forum, and I did send that over to the performance team, but yeah, we should
It's supposed
absolutely support.
Yeah, I actually switched to a single GPU machine recently, but I was previously on a multi-GPU machine. It does the scaling for RT mGPU is a bit resolution dependent, so you start seeing the benefits at 1080p plus. So the default 720p, you won't see a whole lot of improvement, but 1080p plus, you should start seeing decent scaling from multiple GPUs in both PT and RT.
Awesome. All right.
I see.
There he is.
Yeah, I see a deeper question here regarding gravity. that requires a little bit more explanation. And I know that the viewer also just posted a few minutes ago on Discord. I told him to hop on here. I'm trying to see if it makes sense to actually do this in the Hangout afterwards, so that he can explain with more details. Why don't we do that? I think that's better, in the interest of time on the live stream. Dane, is so regarding the question you posted on Gravity, come on to the community voice chat channel in a few minutes. We'll pose that question to Dane. We'll see if we can get a good answer from him there. Dane, is there anything else you want to share on Create's roadmap? You gave a lot of nice info. But is there
No, it's just we're gonna do another major version this year. I can comfortably say that.
Wow.
So we call it dot release, right? So we try to do a few dot releases a year, and then there's the dots. But we have another dot release coming. A lot of exciting features from things you saw at GTC should show up in that release. We're really trying to hone in on over the next few releases, kind of that making things easier. That's kind of one of my main goals for Create in the short term is make the tooling easier and more reliable and more stable, so that you're generally in here for a longer amount of time and having more fun with the product.
That's
So
awesome.
That's the important stuff for us.
Well, thank you. Create is such a beautiful app. So many people benefit greatly from Create. Ed Studio has actually shared some information recently on how he's using it for previs to great success. Whereas previously he would have to rely on really not so nice looking renders for previs work, and now he can actually show stuff that looks pretty close to final really quickly, and it's really helped turn around commercial projects with Dell and others in a way that just has never been achievable before. So a lot of people making great use of Create. Okay, so why don't we do this? Before I forget, next week we have a really fun live stream also. So we just finished and announced the winners of our first developer contest, which was called Extend Omniverse. We highlighted some of those extensions at the user group and the winners, of course. Next week, we have a very special treat because we have at least 2 of the winners will be joining us during the live stream to go over their extension. And we're going to have members from the development team come on and kind of ask them about their extension in more detail. So it'll be a nice walkthrough. So if you're a developer and interested in developing on Omniverse, extending it, so to speak, next week will be a great live stream to kind of talk to some people from the community who are doing exactly that. I also got word yesterday that one of the honorable mentions is actually already working on his a follow-up extension. So lots of great activity. We have lots of channels on Discord for developers broken down by topic. So, but the Extend Omniverse channel is still there if you want to kind of chat with some of the people who submitted entries. A lot of them are hanging out there if you are curious. So that'll be next week. So that is going to be a lot of fun. And so for now, anyone who's watching, come on over to Discord, discord.gg/NVIDIA Omniverse. We will hop into the community voice chat channel with Dane, and you can ask your question, including the Gravity one that you posted a minute ago. So we'll answer that question live in a minute. Well, hopefully we'll answer it. Dane, thank you so much. Wendy, thank you so much. Wendy is doing all this while there's a hurricane barreling towards her house right now in Orlando.
If anyone is in the path of Ian, hi.
Yeah, everyone stay safe. That probably was
do.
probably part of the reason for Twitch's issues earlier. But hopefully everyone will come through the storm okay. So Wendy, thanks for juggling all that.
Yeah, the worst of it's supposed to hit me tomorrow morning, so I'm probably going to take the day off because I won't have power. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, stay safe. All right, everybody, we're going to close the stream. We'll hop on to the Discord now. So come on over and join us there.
All right, bye everyone.
All right, thank you.